evening, top fans. Bill from Top Fan Rivalry here. It's been a little while, but we are back in, well, Dodger Blue or something like that, right? Got my friends Ned Westfall and Dave Schaefer with me. We're going to talk about how spring training has played itself out for us. And if we've got some time, we might, as we're getting ready and geared up for a season, we might even talk a little bit about the season that we thought that never was. So that being said, Mr. Westfall, why don't you start us out with how your Braves are doing? And if you feel inclined to talk about the Angels, feel free. But if you want to talk just Braves, tell us what's going on during spring training this season.
Well, it's been interesting this year as I've analyzed kind of the spring training because I look at like a lot of the lineups and it seems like that most of the managers this year are playing their regulars a lot more and keeping them in games a little longer. And that's kind of what I've noticed with the Braves is that, their manager, Brian Snicker, has pretty much run not the same lineup every day, but he's run out lineups that you look at and go, okay, yeah, I think I would see this lineup, during the season. But we're also too, it's been interesting because, like I had mentioned a couple weeks ago, it's kind of like you kind of use spring training to kind of see where your regulars are going to fit in, and some of these guys are already in full season form with their bat flips and their dogs around the bases, in games that don't mean much, right? But I think I think the Braves are, they're very confident going into the season, and if they can get off to a good start in April because they have a lot of games against their own division, I think they can, they could take the early lead in that division and just ride with it. And we've been talking all winter about the Mets. The Mets made all these moves, but how good are they going to be? No one knows, right? So, I like kind of what Snicker has done, and like I just said, that he didn't have Freddie Freeman for about 2 weeks, but he's been running out the regulars pretty much on a daily basis and letting them play a little bit. Um, to me, it almost seemed like that the rosters were almost predetermined in a way, just with a few teams that I've been keeping an eye on. There really weren't like a lot of spots there for people or for players to earn. So it'll be interesting to see once the rosters come out next week with the 26-man roster to start the season, who goes where, when do they start, and how it all works out. I think the early part of the season is going to be a lot like that, though. It's going to be, because last year really wasn't a full season. Some of these regulars might get some rest early in the season, just because it's a long haul in the summer. So it'll be interesting to see. And just to touch on the Angels a little bit, Shohei Ohtani yesterday, did something that hadn't been done, and even in an exhibition game in the past, I think 45 years, something like that. He was the pitcher, but he also led off and went 2 for 2 and had a walk. So, that it gives a glimmer of hope for all Angel fans that are out there that are watching. That if this guy can play to his potential, he could be their number one guy. I don't know, we'll see, but. Yeah, so that's kind of what, but also too, it's a time of year that I think as a true baseball fan, you're kind of wish spring training would be over and just, let's get on with the season already, right?
Yeah,
If we're going to have.
exactly. Dave, take us around the horn for you.
So the big stuff going on.
Oops, Dave, we can't hear you. Dave, we can't hear you. Oh. There we go. Try again. Nope. Are your earbuds blocking it? No. Let's see here.
Hello.
No. Do you want to?
Yeah, there we go.
Let's see. I'm gonna try this.
Yeah, it's good now. That's good now.
We got you now. Nope.
We thought we did.
We had you there for a second. Let's see if we can. No. Do you wanna hop out and try to hop back in?
No, you can't hear me at all.
Yeah, well, we could hear you when you were closing your thing and talking. There we go.
All right, that'll have to be good enough, I guess.
Yeah, well, we'll try there for right now.
So what I was saying is for the White Sox, it's the DH, the backup catcher, and the fifth starter is the big focus. Looks like Reynaldo Lopez got sent down to the taxi squad today, which means Carlos Rodon is probably going to get that fifth starter spot. And from what I've seen and read, he has pitched really well this spring. He's I saw a pitch tracker on his last start, and his fastball was 94 to 96, and pitched really well. So that's encouraging. I think Andrew Vaughn, who I keep talking about, their number one draft pick from a couple of years ago, is going to end up winning the DH spot and probably platoon at first base. Can't wait to see that. I think I saw a number where, and he's getting a lot of at bats in the spring, and I think he's hitting over 400. I think his OPS is over 8, so things are looking good there. And then last I read, it looks like Jonathan Lucroy could sneak up and get the because they want a veteran back there. So those are the big ones for the White Sox. Otherwise, everything's going according to plan. We had an outfielder, backup outfielder, come up injured this week, but shouldn't be too serious. So kind of like what was already said, it's time to just get on with it. Start playing games for real.
Amen. Amen. I'm with you guys, man. Spring training is exciting when it starts because it's starting, right? And then it feels like spring training. You get excited about watching a game and you tune in and you're like, who's this dude? Who's this dude? Where'd this guy come from? I'm excited to see how I'm glad to have JT back, and he's having a decent spring. Cody Bellinger's back in the lineup. I like that. That makes me happy. Gavin Lux is having a decent spring, but I am ready for baseball to get started. I'm ready to see how well this Dodgers Padres thing is going to play out this season. I'm excited about the schedule's a little awkward. I'm not gonna lie to you, fellas. I mean, where you have different things going on back and forth. It's just, yeah, but whatever. Just get me started. And being in Southern California, I have to tell you, by the way, in full confession, I have Lewis Robert on my fantasy team. I have Shohei Ohtani as a pitcher on my fantasy team. And it's so funny out here in Southern California, everybody keeps talking about Shohei. He's throwing 100 mile an hour. He's throwing 100 mile an hour. He's throwing 100 mile an hour. Talk to me in July. As long as he stays healthy, he'll be fun to watch in Southern California. But it's great that he's throwing 100 miles an hour in March when it doesn't matter. It's not going to matter. The one issue that I think the Dodgers have actually two, and this is, I guess, a good and bad problem to have. Right now, the majority of our pitching staff would probably be either the ace or at least a number 3 guy on any other club, or most clubs, I should say. Dustin May is probably going to start in the bullpen, which, okay. And Tony Gonsolin's going to start in the bullpen, which, but Julio Urias is going to be a number 5 starter. And Ned, that you can challenge me on this, but I think this kid, if he were on an Angels staff, he might be the number 2 starter. He's got some great stuff. So we've got that issue, and we've got a great catcher in the minors with the last name of Ruiz that can hit a ton. The only problem that we're having with this dude is there's no place to put him. We got Austin Barnes and we got Will Smith. So we'll see how that plays itself out. But let's just, let's get on with it. Let's April 1st. Let's go, boys. I'm tired of waiting. And believe you me, I'm taking next Wednesday off. I've already put it on my calendar. I've already told people. I've already said, hey, here's how this is going to roll. If you need anything, you better really need it, because otherwise leave me alone.
Did any of you guys see the quote online about the security guard down in Florida who was banging the trash can on Alex Bregman's at bats?
Every pitch. Yeah.
That's classic.
Yes. Yes. Every pitch he was banging a trash can. And guess what? Now with fans in the stands, these guys get what they deserve. Wait until they go to the Bronx this season. Wait until they come to LA this season. Wait until that happens. Oh, it's going to be great. Oh, it's going to be great. So,
Should be some good video and audio for sure.
yeah, most people don't realize this, but Angel fans tend to detest the Dodger fans, not so much because of anything except for you got Orange County versus LA County. But if you ask most Angel fans, when Asterix come to town, they will be happy to cheer against the Asterix, for the Dodgers cause. That's for sure. Other thoughts on spring training? Anything unique that you saw?
Oh, Otani.
Yeah. Again, talk to me in July. I'm really excited about this. 100-mile-an-hour pitches. Talk to me in freaking July. As long as his arm holds up. All right.
Yeah, it cracks me up when folks are bragging about their team's record in spring training and how good some of these players are doing, especially pitchers. There was a quote yesterday. I think it was Lance Lynn or somebody on the White Sox, but the quote was basically, "We're out there throwing whatever the heck we want because we're working on pitches."
Yeah. And by the way, Dave, last night in our fantasy draft, so this is a mock, like you don't pay anything to get into this league. The way we have it set up though with the draft is you get 260 fake dollars. And so each person gets a few keepers and then they can bid on guys. Lance Lynn, he got drafted early because people were looking for pitching, right? And most guys kept their pitching. Like one guy had Walker Buehler and Garrett Cole as keepers. I had Clayton Kershaw and somebody else that were keepers of mine. But Lance Lynn comes up and somebody picked him up for $37. Out of $260 in the budget, it was $37 for Lance Lynn. And I thought, well, I mean, Lance Lynn's good and he's going to play for a team that's going to score runs, but man, that's more than 10% of your budget. Are you kidding?
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing too is I'm looking here at, and this is a little bit old, but this top free agents that are still available, and some of these guys, it's getting late if they're going to find a home. I know Cespedes is still out there, Puig's still out there. I'm looking at this list, and it's got Rick Porcello, Cole Hamels, Shane Green, Michael Franco, Jed Jerko, guys that may get squeezed out.
Yeah. And Cole Hamels, guys like Cole Hamels they'll be good in a team that may or may not be competitive or is on the cusp of being competitive. But guys like Cespedes, if you can keep this guys and Puig, if you can keep their heads in the game in the right space for 162 games, they can contribute. But I don't think people want to deal with, especially with Puig's attitude and one of the greatest gifts that the Dodgers got from the Braves was Juan Uribe. And I'll tell you why he was the greatest gift, because he was Yasiel Puig's roommate. And he was the one that got Yasiel Puig's head right during the season. And that was pretty much anything that Juan Uribe produced on the field was like added bonus over what he was doing in the clubhouse for Puig. Because Puig back then was a head case. I don't know what he's like now, but back then he was a head case.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then the White Sox picked up Billy Hamilton. We'll see if he breaks camp. With the injury in the outfield, he just might.
Yeah. That kid can run. I mean, that guy's that kid can run. But the question is, I mean, he's got to get on to be able to run, right?
Yeah, or you pinch run them or something. I don't know, but it's interesting. You know, you can't, you got to have some offset to all of the big lumber and some guys that can run and play the game a different way.
Well, what's the major league? Is the major league league minimum? Is it still 518?
I don't know. I think it's more than that, but
Where's Jackson when we need him, right?
I'm looking.
Hey, Bill, I was gonna bring up something that I saw on a spring training game a couple weeks ago with the Angels. I guess
Go for it.
they had a rule this spring to where you could take a pitcher out of a game and then he could come back in and start the next inning. Have you seen that at all?
No.
Yeah, Joe Madden did that with Griffin Canning in a game I was watching. He took him out with 2 outs in 1 inning. Or no, he got guys on. Took him out. Reliever came in and got the 3 outs, and then he brought him back in to start the next inning.
Oh, geez.
That's an interesting rule that I think the league should mess around with. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine if I can pull a guy out because this guy is going to get tattooed, has a terrible record against this guy, he gets tattooed, yet he can start the next inning with somebody else. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad enough right now that, and I like the new rule that they had where if a pitcher comes in relief, he's got to face 3 batters. I mean, I liked that rule because that sped up the game and you didn't have this lefty, lefty, righty, righty thing. But yeah, can you imagine that rule? Dave, can you imagine that rule? I mean, that's like a rule that you don't even have in coach pitch.
No. So, let's say Walker Buehler's in a jam. He gives up, a walk and a single, and they take him out. And reliever comes and gets 3 outs, and then come out and start the next inning. I guess
that would just tick me off.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one in the regular season anyway.
No,
Yeah.
that
Spring
would probably
training, I could care less what they do.
that would probably do something to their arm too, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that I heard.
And their psyche. So what?
Minimum salary is 570,000 this year.
So you basically are give or take, you're basically paying a guy 48 grand a month to pick splinters out of his backside. So that's an expensive pinch runner for you, Dave. Although 48 grand at a baseball team, who cares?
Yeah, you got $100 million budget. It's not going to move the needle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Just so you know, too, because I have to tell you, the minor leagues, it's $400 a week for rookie and short season, $500 a week at Class A, $600 a week in Double-A, and a whopping $700 a week in Triple-A.
$2,800.
Those are the minimums.
Those. If you're making AAA though, you're not making the minimum. I wouldn't imagine.
Chances are no, but those other guys probably are.
So you said $2,800 or yeah, so it's $700 a week. Yeah, it's $33,000 a year. I hate to say it, but you make more money at In-N-Out moving burgers around. That's crazy.
My opinion. The MLB is really taking advantage of these kids.
Yeah,
I think it's garbage.
Yeah, it all depends too on their signing bonuses, right? I mean,
but these guys get a signing bonus that's worth anything. The top
Right.
5 guys, the rest of them are starting. The rest of them are working at Home Depot
that's true.
and driving UPS trucks.
It's true. It's
And the
true.
MLB hides behind the fact that they're apprentices. They're learning the job. They're they're not full-time employees, and it's a bunch of crap. If those guys don't train year-round, they will not make it.
It's true. It's true. That's a good comment. Yeah, it's some of these guys, they make these bonuses, which is like minuscule, and other guys make great signing bonuses and then never produce. And then you've got guys like Jim Abbott, who basically, when he signed with the Angels, said, I'm not going to AAA. I'm not going to Double A. You either sign me and I go straight to the show, or I don't play.
Mhm.
And I mean, that hurt him his first couple of seasons, right?
Yeah, and that's the anomaly too. I mean, I just, just because of the folks I've interacted with and gotten to know, it just really, and some of these kids, whether it's my son or someone else's son, some of these kids are going to make it, and they're going to be there, and they're going to be struggling eating grilled cheese 5 days a week and whatever. It's just not right. I just think it's crap.
Yeah, part of what we're going to do on our website with the Before the Bigs thing was we're actually looking at partnering up with a number of different locations where we can find a little bit more cost-effective gear and equipment and things, so that parents, as they have somebody, in your case, like your son, Dave, where they have somebody that's got a shot to make it as they're going up through the ranks, maybe they can save a few bucks here or there. That way parents can afford to send a little bit extra money when their kids are in the bus league making $400 or $500, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
That could be helpful, and that's always appreciated, I think. We had a couple of games this week. We played Thursday. This is high school, 5A Arizona high school baseball, and we won 29-0. And then Friday we won 25-0. And I'm not bragging about our team. My commentary is that the teams that we played, it's disheartening to see these kids that never got a chance to play organized baseball, that have never had the advantage of some really, really good coaching. Families can't afford club baseball. There's kids on these teams that probably would have the talent to play and never really got the chance to develop. And I thought that was really sad this week.
yeah, so Top Fans run by 3 people, myself, and one other person, and then a small minority owner. And the minority owner came to us and said, hey, if you guys are going to create this for the bigs scenario, you really got to help parents, because it's fun that you interview the kids and it makes the kids feel good. But if there's a way we partner up, and I mean, you're in the thick of it right now, Dave. I mean, I'm past, my prime of that. But if there was a way where you could save $20 by clicking onto our link for a bat or something like that, why not? Right?
Yep. No, that's all good. I just, it just pointed out to me, like, really, really upfront, the haves and the have-nots. And, it just kind of stinks. There's kids on those teams that just got their brains beat in, and they're going to get their brains beat in all season. And they're probably going to go home hating baseball. And for what? What are we doing?
Yeah. Speaking of that, your kid didn't pitch against one of those teams, but how did your kid do in his first outing as a varsity starter?
He threw 78 pitches, 51 strikes, 11 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 hit, no runs. And it was a pretty decent team. It wasn't in either of those crazy, debacles.
Yeah.
So he's got to start. He's got to start this Friday against a much better team. It's last I saw was the number 9 team in the state.
Yeah, but 11 strikeouts in his first outing. I mean, have a day, right?
Yeah. It was good to see. He had fun.
Yeah. I love spring training, but I'm ready for the real stuff. Boys, how about you?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how some of our predictions play out. I still have that prediction up on YouTube, and I'm going to keep it up there and see, how this all plays out for us. So
Yep.
It'll be a good time. Good time. Well, as we're wrapping up, we didn't get a chance to talk about our seasons that never were. We'll get back to that in the next YouTube. But Ned, let's go around the horn, starting with you. Any final thoughts as next week, obviously, teams play, they're kind of their rivals. They're, local guys. The Angels and Dodgers will play. Cubs and White Sox will play each other, right? Someplace. But Ned, wrap us up on your final thoughts on spring training, besides for being able to take somebody out and put them back in. What do you see with the Braves as far as anything that you want to say when it comes to that?
No, I just, like I said in previous calls, you just hope all the players stay healthy. You hope the managers are smart with each one of them. You hope that they know their limitations and to make it a successful season. Because back to your point earlier, you don't want to see a guy burn out in July because he's throwing 105 miles an hour right now here in March. So just I think as a fan, that's what you're hoping for. You're hoping your team's competitive. You're hoping that it's fun to watch. And yeah, you don't want to see any of these 12-0, 25-0 games, because that's no fun for anybody. Even for the major leaguers, I think too. It's you just want to see some competitive games, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave.
Just get off to a good start. There's going to be tough weather. There always is. So off to a good start and keep everyone healthy. That's really the name of it,
Yeah. And I'm with you. The Dodgers historically either start off on fire and cool off, or start off slow and pick up. Just start off regular, boys. Just have a good start, but let's not I would love to jump out by All-Star break and have a 7-8 game lead on the Padres, because I don't think anybody else in the National League West is going to compete. I don't think the Rockies are going to compete. The Diamondbacks, I don't think they're going to compete. And the Giants definitely aren't going to compete. And to Ned's comment, I don't mind if the Dodgers go up to San Francisco and beat them up 25-0 for 3 games in a row. I'm okay with that. I really will not lose any sleep over that. The guys are making a minimum of almost $600,000. They can cry themselves to sleep on their $100 bills. Okay, don't care as long as it's the Dodgers giving the slacking to the Giants. But
so we have the White Sox opening the season a week from Thursday in Anaheim.
Yeah, are you going to come out?
I'd love to, but I don't think I can make it.
Okay, well, you're always welcome to come out.
Better.
By the way, if you do come out, I've got a better hotel for you to stay at. The one that you stayed at before was, yeah. We'll talk about that offline.
No, if I planned
Anyways,
I could pull that off, but
yeah. Anyways, Top Fans, it's great always, as usual, to watch or to have you guys subscribe to the link below. Go to the website. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff happening over the next couple of weeks as we get started. Have a wonderful evening, and we thank you for watching us.